Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Eyeshadow here. So today's tutorial is going to be a full face of drugstore makeup for Eid, because we still want to look good on Eid but not break the bank. A lot of the products I'm using are some of my favorite brands and they are new releases as well. Before I start, make sure that you like the video, comment down below, and of course hit that notification bell to get notified every single time I post. I'm going to make everything super beginner friendly. I'm going to explain every single step, why I'm doing it, what it would do to help your base look better. I'm going to be breaking it down for you guys. Let's get into it. So prep is so important when it comes to your makeup lasting longer and looking super smooth on your skin as well, and this has to do with your products that you're using before to prep your skin. I'm going to use a sheet mask to prep it. Honestly, I know, don't roll your eyes, it's an extra step that you are adding to your routine, but it is one of the best steps you can add. A lot of makeup artists tend to do this as well. It's like a pro tip. And the one that I'm using is from this brand. However, there's amazing ones from Garnier that are super affordable in the drugstore as well. Unfortunately, I don't have any with me right now, so I'm gonna apply this mask. The only thing I don't like about masks is that they're so cold. Been long enough now. See how my skin looks a lot more hydrated, plump, and makeup is gonna apply so much smoother. While that moisturizer is absorbing in, I'm gonna start off with my brows, and I'm using this brow product from MUA. It's their brow gel hold, and it's really good because it has the spoolie, right? But not only that, you're able to take this part off. It has a brush and a comb. Go backwards with our brow like this. This is going to make sure that the product actually gets into the brows and reaches every single brow hair to get that amazing hold. And I'm slightly brushing my brow upward. This gives you a facelift. Like, you can instantly see the difference right now. This is a lot lower, especially with my brow hairs. I need something like this, and I don't have a lot of lid space, but this gives that illusion that I do. I think the comb first to manipulate the shape, and then I press it down once I'm happy with the shape and give it that laminated look. To fill in the brows, I'm using this Revolution brow pencil. It has this sharp edge to it, which makes it really easy for you to fill in your brows and make it super hair-like. I'm just concentrating the products where I need it, which is at the top of my arch. Everywhere else is completely fine, so I'm not going to add too much product. This is not 2016.
If you used to watch my brow tutorials and actually follow them, I feel bad for you because those were hideous.
Prep the lid. I'm using a full coverage concealer to eliminate all of the darkness on my lid. South Asians could probably relate to this. We have a lot of darkness around our eyes, and with this product I'm gonna slightly take it underneath here to give it that crisp look. We're not going to take the product on top, we just want it underneath. I have really oily eyelids, and I love using a loose setting powder to somewhat bake my eyelid. This not only makes sure that it keeps the oils at bay, but I feel like once I apply the powder, the eyeshadows do pop more. I just like to start off with my eyes because it prevents the fallout from the eyeshadow mixing in with the base and completely ruining it, especially if you're using darker eyeshadows. But before I do the eyes, I like to use primer to prep my skin, and this is from Barry. All the products, by the way, will be in the description box if I haven't mentioned it in the video already. This is the gripping primer. When you use a gripping primer, guys, please make sure that you apply it, let's say a couple minutes before, 3 minutes minimum before you apply your foundation. This way it's actually gonna do what it's meant to do. The gripping primer is going to allow the foundation, once you put it on, to grip and last a lot more longer. Sticky that is. So indecisive in what eyeshadow look I should go for and what palette I should use, but I wanted to show you guys these e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes because they are beyond affordable. They retail for around £4 and there's so many different shades. And then if you wanted a bit more shades to work with, they also have these palettes which are £10. Some depth to the crease. I'm going to use this Beauty Bay liquid eyeshadow in Biscoff. I just wanted to show you this because this again is super beginner friendly and affordable. There's 3 of these in a pack and I think it's around £10. I'll put it in the description. Using it to prep my look. I'm just concentrating it in the crease and blending it out in a cat eye sort of shape. The Carnival Candy palette and use this as our transition shade. Using a tapered brush, and I'm concentrating that in the crease and mainly on the outer corner. You see how harsh this looks? We want to diffuse the edges a bit, so I'm taking the lighter white shade and tapping that into the brown just very lightly, and we're buffing the edges out using a big fluffy brush. Now we're going to add depth to the eyeshadow look. You see how I added something on the lash line and then winged it out. Taking this darker brown and a flat dense shader brush like this, and I take the shade from my lash line and blending it slightly upward, and I'm just slightly winging it out and using my lower lash line as a guide. I'm buffing it away using the same brush we used for the transition. Some of you guys might not have a lot of eyeshadow brushes, like you might have 1 or 2. You need something like this. I will link it in the description box. So you just take your brush, you swirl it around and it takes off the product that was on there, and you can use that again. There was like a dark brown on that and look, there's nothing on there anymore. I'm going to take the white in the Carnival palette on the lid, just like that, from the inner corner halfway to the lid. Taking the black from the Truffle palette, and you see how elongated and lifted my eye looks. I added this black. I used this Morphe M443 brush, and it's a very small, thin, painter looking brush. It's gonna give us that baby wing. Well, I'm gonna give the baby wing, but the brush really does help. Lower lash line as a guide upwards. Don't need to go with a lot of eyeshadow to begin with. We just want to map out where we're putting the product and then we can build it, especially if you're a beginner. I see a lot of people go into the eyeshadow brush, they're going ham, and then they put it on their eye and they spend ages blending it out and it looks like a mess. You can build in layers with eyeshadow, and it doesn't matter if it's drugstore or high-end eyeshadows. I will always recommend to do that. Take the 2 shimmers. I'm going to use a finger for this. The shimmers, I feel like your finger works best. Taking it high as well, like I'm not keeping it on my lid. This is going to open up the eyes. I'm going to take the e.l.f. one, and this is in 24K Gold. And I'm not going to directly put it on my lid because we just want it to be super subtle. We want the shimmer when it hits the light to shine. Taking the product on my hand, dabbing off the excess, and then I'm going to slightly tap it. I'm going to use this new product from Makeup Revolution. Is the Wispy False Lashes. It reminds me of a higher end product, but my normal go-to mascara that's going to add the volume, the length. People ask me if I'm wearing falsies when I wear this. Is the Beauty Bay High Key Mascara. Ooh, I'm liking that so far. It's definitely making my lashes look wispy, and I do love the bristle, how big it is. There was definitely fallout when I applied that eyeshadow. This is why I do my eyes before, because it makes a difference. Also, I'm taking the wipe and kind of making the outer edge of my eyeshadow a lot more crisp and clean. Now we're getting on to the base. Don't worry for all the people that were waiting, because I do think people prefer the base part of makeup tutorials. I do as well, with the e.l.f. Halo Glow, and I'm gonna concentrate this on the outer edge of our face. The reason being is we don't want to apply it in the center. As it is a glowy product, it can accentuate the pore. Getting that on the edge, I'm blending that away with a fluffy sort of brush. The way I am gonna apply lashes, but I'm waiting for the mascara to dry before I mess around with the lashes. But you can totally wear this eyeshadow look without lashes, because you can see how good it looks without it. Like, it's giving the eye a lift, is adding the fullness to the lashes because of the eyeshadow that we added on the base line here. Lashes, I'm going for something natural and fluttery and a cat eye shape. These are from e.l.f. and oh my gosh, these are reusable up to 10 times, but I'm sure you can reuse it multiple times. They feel so fluffy, lightweight, and the lash band she is giving. Before I apply the lashes, by the way, I'm going to take a liquid liner and apply a very thin line, extremely thin, guys. The reason why I'm doing this is because it's going to allow the lashes to blend in better rather looking really disconnected. I've seen some of you girls, your lashes will looking really odd because you don't do this step. I hate wearing lashes. You need to try out these ones because they're so subtle and lightweight. Adding a tiny bit of color corrector. For the foundation, I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Skin Silk. This is like a very lightweight serum foundation, so if you want more coverage or you have oily skin, I recommend to use the IRL Filter foundation. I use a mixture between 10 and 9.5 in these ones, but today I want more of a lightweight sort of finish. I've been loving that recently, so I'm going to use the Skin Silk. Only sort of thing I have with this is that I have to mix two shades. You can't see it on camera, but 10.5 is a lot more warmer and 10 too peachy for my skin tone, and you can see I have that olive sort of undertone. To tap on the product with my finger nowadays, I feel like it just melts the product into the skin a lot better. I love using this type of brush to blend in my foundation. You're able to pat and stipple it in, and this is from Morphe, is the E63 brush. It keeps the coverage. Using a makeup brush keeps the coverage, whereas when you use a sponge it takes it away. Now we're going to do the contouring slash bronzing. I'm going to use the e.l.f. contour wand, and this is in medium tan. You want to bronze the skin before we apply concealer because it just melts into the face a lot more better and you get a seamless blend. Contouring your lips just adds fullness, and then around the jawline and chin. Blend out the nose and lip area. I like to use a smaller buffing brush like this, and with the contour I take it into my brow bone area. This is just gonna give it a, this is not gonna look as harsh as just having two lines here. This is in Dusty Rose, by the way. Oh girl, just apply some there, tiny bit on my forehead so that the blusher blends in, and my chin as well. I like to add a tiny bit on my nose. A dense angled buffing brush, this is from Makeup Revolution, and I'm blending that I like to take the blusher underneath my eye area, just like this, because it low-key acts like a color corrector. As I've noticed, I applied all of my cream and liquid products first, and then I'm going to sit here and apply the powder. This way your makeup is going to last all day long, girl. You need to try this. Just using powder is not going to make your makeup last all day long, and liquid or creams is not, but the two together, they were made for each other. Get onto the concealer. Now for this one, is still affordable, but is not necessarily in the drugstore, not to my knowledge anyway, is the HMB concealers. This is the best concealer you are gonna try. Right now it's on sale, I think, because there's a spring sale on TikTok shop. It is £6 something, insane, but it's usually around £16. But this is the best. Like, this is gonna make your under eyes look super flawless. But in case for whatever reason you just can't get these, I recommend the Makeup Revolution IRL concealers, and I use the shade C9.5, which is a more yellow undertone, and then C10, which has a more peachier, lighter undertone. Using shade SF3W, you don't need much of this. I'm gonna apply it in the inner corner and outer corner like this. The outer corner, because it's gonna give it a lift. I'm gonna apply some on my chin for some coverage here, and my forehead to add a bit of a brightness. Out the center parts on my face first, and I let the concealer on my under eye sit for a bit, because this builds the coverage and makes it a bit more thicker in texture, so when we blend it away it just is a lot more smoother. Harsh line right here. Compared to this side, I take my foundation brush with no product and I buff that away. We have done all of the liquid products, we can go into the powder. So I'm gonna set my face first with a loose powder. I'm using the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder. This is in medium light, by the way. The technique of this is really important, so pay attention if you're not already. So we're gonna knock out the creases. We're gonna do one eye at a time, and we're going to use a powder puff, work that powder into the puff. So don't apply this directly like this on the eye, work it in by going in circular motions. You see how smoother that is. Then look up as you're pressing that powder, give the most smoothest finish. You see, now knock the creases out around my smile lines, and then do the same technique as we did before. Loose powder where you normally get oily or where you see your makeup break down. For me, that's around my under eye, my upper lip, my chin area. Taking whatever excess product is on the puff and then going diagonal just like that to sculpt. Our face looks super matte right now. Don't be scared, because we're gonna add the dewiness back using this Makeup Revolution Super Dewy Fixing Spray. This is also new from them as well. We don't want the eye makeup to be ruined. Don't worry, we're close to the end. Now we've done the cream liquids, we're gonna go into the powder. So I'm powder bronzing with this Makeup Revolution bronzer in Too Warm. I'm applying it on my forehead, around my cheekbones, and just very lightly around my jawline. For the blush, I can't pick, so I'm using these two from Milani. This is in Coralina and this is in Dolce Pink. I'm just placing it high on my cheekbone. This is going to give my face a lift, like you can see that right now. Excess is left on the brush. I'm slightly taking it underneath the eye where we set it. This is gonna blend and melt everything together rather than looking really separated. Using this highlighter from Milani, and it's in Champagne Dior 120. The placement is really important, so I'm tapping it on my brush, but also I take off the excess. Remember, we can always add but not take away. So I'm applying it very high. I'm not applying it around here because it's going to accentuate our pores and texture. I'm applying it high on my cheekbone and slightly going in a C shape underneath my brow bone. We're gonna set and melt everything together. Again, I'm using the e.l.f. Stay All Day Micro Mist Setting Spray. For the lips, we got a lot of options. Using this brown lip liner from MUA. The price of these, they're under £3. I'm mind blown. And there's so much product as well, and this is in shade Obsession. Guys, if you want your lip liner to last all day long, take a powder puff, the loose powder, and then apply it on your lip. Trust the process. I know the colour's gone, but reapply that lip liner. Taking this Revolution lipstick in Nude Love. I know it looks scary, but trust the process. And then I'm taking I'm taking one of the shades. I'll just write it down somewhere because I ain't saying that word. And I'm tapping it as well. MUA are the cheapest makeup in the drugstore. I don't know how they're able to sell these because they're only £2 and they have a different array of shades. I have a swatch video if you're interested in watching that. So I am going to take Heartfelt Hun and I'm going to put it on my lips because I love a glossy look. You can leave it like this, but I'm very guilty of having a glossy lip. I love it. Just adds extra dimension. I need to add a pop of colour. This is how you're going to do it. Use a liner and then apply it in your waterline. This is a great way of adding colour without adding it on your lid. I know some people get nervous about adding too much colour. This adds colour but with it being subtle. I'm going to try to keep my look very neutral as possible, so I'm using the gold and I'm adding it to my waterline, and this is just gonna make the eyes look bigger as well because this is shimmery. And that is the makeup tutorial done, the ultimate tutorial using all affordable drugstore products. Girl, this is looking so good. I'm even shocked with the results because wow, you can still look good on a budget. Make sure you save this tutorial for Eid, watch it later, follow all the tips and tricks I gave you because guaranteed your makeup is gonna look good. Well, thank you for watching and supporting. If you got through this long video, I appreciate it so much. If you love these sort of tutorials, comment down below for more. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe because it helps me, you know.